All right, start off. There's 2 congratulations to give out. 1, congratulations, Philadelphia. You guys got a pretty damn good football team over there. Congratulations, number 2 goes to Stephon Diggs. Congratulations for getting out of the shit show. You're amazing. This team is terrible. Let's start at the top. Blame right away at the top. Kevin O'Connell. Your job is to get your football team ready to play football. You did not do that today. Your team looked like absolute dog shit. I know you're not supposed to swear in the first 20 seconds of YouTube video. It's happening. Your team was not ready to play football today. They were feeling themselves from last week or whatever. At Donatel, your defense was atrocious.
Yeah.
Okay. I understand the concept of make Jalen Hurts beat you with his arm, but when you let him complete every pass, that is not the point. The point is don't let him beat. And guess what? He still beat us with his legs twice for touchdowns. And more than that, they handed us multiple opportunities to make an advance in that game. They gave us chances, and we didn't do shit. So there's not a lot. I can't think of one. We usually do our ups and downs with players. Nobody moved up. A lot of people moved down. Okay, let's just get out there. Kirk Cousins. That was not what we need from you. First interception, Justin Jefferson, yes. The rest of them, be better. You're being paid like a top 12, top 10 quarterback, and that's what you give. Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic on all fronts. This team looked like pure dog shit. Detroit's going to walk all over us next week. I am just watching that game. I'm just thinking of all these things in my head. I'm sorry I'm dominating the conversation to start. I apologize. You're going to get your chance to talk, but it's a top-down thing here. Everybody needs to be better. Kevin O'Connell, start with you. That timeout you called, the end of the first half, your team was not doing anything. And you think we're going to stop them and then you call that defense on third down? Get together with your coaches and figure some shit out. It's just abysmal. My brother said it. We've seen a lot of bad primetime football. This takes the cake. This might be the most disappointing thing I've ever seen from this team in my years of watching them. Jamie, take the floor. I've said a lot. What are your thoughts?
I mean, there's no question. This was a terrible game. I'm not ready to just call this whole team a dumpster fire or anything just yet in week 2. I don't think we're going to go into Detroit and automatically lose yet. I think there's just terrible schemes, especially our defense against Jalen Hurts. I was literally one of the people who said, make Jalen Hurts beat you with his arm. Well, I guess his arm has gotten a lot better or something because he was hitting everything. Well, I mean, he had, what was he? I got the stats right here. 26 for 31. I know he was 11 for 11 before his first miss, but those guys were so wide open too. And throughout the whole entire game, you were kind of hoping that we would change it up a little bit. At least Ed Donato would have changed his defense up or the way he was playing them, but he didn't. It was the same thing. He was playing off of the receivers the whole time. It was just making it so easy for Jalen Hurts to complete passes.
It was Zimmer ball.
Boom,
that was Mike Zimmer football. That's what we hated about Mike Zimmer.
And
offensively too. And it all came up again. Conservative offense, conservative defense. What do you think is going to happen?
But this is where it comes down to. So when we talk about conservative offenses, that's the thing is we've talked about this before. Last year it was Zimmer's offense is conservative Zimmer, and I actually do think that. But then the other question mark me and you always had is it just Zimmer or is Kirk Cousins also conservative? And I will double down on this. I've said it even last week. Is I just think Kirk Cousins is too conservative. There's throws until the end of the game, which scares me because it was, as soon as he starts throwing deeper towards the end of the game and kind of being more aggressive, he starts throwing interceptions and bad throws. And it is Monday Night Football, and he does suck on Monday Night Football. And I don't know how many more I don't think we have any more Monday Night Footballs, but
no.
What were you going to say?
He had one really good deep shot, and
yes.
Off-season darling, Irv Smith, going to be a surefire top 10 tight end. Drops it. Get 84. I saw this on Twitter. Get 84 off of that, man. That's pathetic. That's a disgrace for the number 84 right there,
dude. And that was terrible. And that was a great pass by Kirk Cousins, and it was a great everything by Kirk. I love that one play by Kirk Cousins, but everything else was so short. I just feel like he doesn't even before they started blitzing us a lot towards in the second half, but even before that, I feel like he doesn't even let our wide receivers get open. Is kind of just dump the ball off. His first read is always short. His first read has to be short, and then he might look like, I don't know. I think he's really conservative. too conservative until maybe that's the reason why he's so conservative, is because when he plays too aggressive, he throws bad passes and interceptions. I don't actually think that every single game he had a bad game. But the only thing that scares me the most about this is I do not think that we need an aggressive Kirk Cousins, no matter what, to go far into the postseason and get a Super Bowl. I think we need that out of him. He can't play conservative for the rest of the year, and that's what scares me about this game. Is as soon as he started getting some sort of aggressive, even though it was stupid, dumb plays like forcing JJ balls that he should not have, is I'm worried that he's gonna take a step back from being aggressive again and even become more conservative. The last thing I want him to do is, as soon as he becomes aggressive, he makes mistakes, and now he needs to take another step back. And I think we said this last year too, and that seemed to what happened. And that's what worries me about Kirk Cousins, is that as soon as he's doing that and it doesn't go good, I feel like he might come back to that. I just don't think we're gonna go very far in the postseason in Super Bowl, which is what we want, if he doesn't play aggressive. That's just the whole thing with Kirk Cousins on that. It was Monday Night Football. I'm gonna chalk it up with he's bad on Monday Night Football, and hopefully we can turn our team around going into Detroit. But the defense, I don't know, man. The Kevin O'Connell,
it almost seems unfixable at this point with that defense. Like, I don't know. They know how to. I mean, I get it. It's a different quarterback and a different scheme against him, but
it felt like a scheme. It felt like a scheme prop. I mean, there's no question. It was our players too. And our players, I just felt like they didn't play aggressive on defense enough.
They tried stripping the ball too much too. Like,
and that, just not good tackles. Like, I don't know. There's so many, even all the just the runs right up the middle they did, just breaking tackles, getting right through us. It was just like, almost, I don't know if it was just their offensive play calling or what, but it seemed like every time, especially in the first half, this is specifically in the first half, the second half, this is like the tale of two stories here. The first half, our defense was so terribly bad. Every single thing they caught, every single thing. The second half, they still weren't great, but they made some plays.
Right.
We got the interception, we got the blocked field goal. We actually had an opportunity. If you think about it, the Irv Smith catch, the blocked field goal, the interception by Hicks, we had a chance to put ourselves in this game and potentially win this game. And we screwed that up. But that was what I was going to say is the defense just kind of, like, the defense settled down a little bit. It wasn't so bad in the second half. They made some plays, and then all of a sudden, Kirk Cousins and the offense had opportunities, and Kirk Cousins was the reason that kind of messed things up, I think. And then, I mean, everywhere. I mean, we couldn't get Delvin Cook rolling. He didn't do nothing. I mean, our whole offense was just bad.
The offensive line looked terrible.
The offensive line looked terrible for pretty much the whole game, especially the second half. But still, it's another thing with Kirk Cousins too, is, when he's pressured, he's not always the best, especially he got strip sacked again. And there's a stat that popped up on the screen. He's had the most fumbles since
he started.
Since it started. So that's an example right there. And he's another a guy who just cannot use his legs to escape the pocket. And that's one of my biggest things from him in the first place. But what's up?
The funniest thing is he did use his legs to escape the pocket a couple times tonight. And that first time he fell out, he had nobody near him. He could have easily got that first down. And he falls over too soon. It's just like,
he was hesitant. It was like he had 30 yards in front of him and he still was like, I don't know. Right. And then he ends up, he's like, I gotta do it. And I like, especially when you watch a guy like Jalen Hurts come in, 30-year receiver, and he tears us up with his arm and his legs. Like, man, it just does bring a different dimension to your offense if your quarterback can just even run a little bit. And that's what I say. But I'm, obviously, I still think Kirk Cousins is a very good quarterback. But I never even thought this before. I don't think he's a great quarterback. I don't think he's an elite quarterback. I don't think he's a top 10 quarterback. He just isn't. He's above average. I think he's as good as it gets as a game managing quarterback. And I think that's what you get out of Kirk Cousins. And he is yet to prove me wrong at that.
Right.
I think.
But, and like, how many of those interceptions and like just throws he made to Justin Jefferson, was he just staring him down the entire time? Like, you have a very good number 2
Yeah,
wide
yeah, yeah.
receiver and Adam Thielen on the other side.
Right,
Like,
right.
he didn't get looked at till the second half, and then Kirk, of course, threw an interception when he tried throwing it to him, which was just bonehead mistake by Kirk there. But like they're not. I don't know. Like, they're trying all these different things on offense, but they're really not. They threw a lot of screens again, of course, that just didn't work
Yes.
out.
Dude, bad screens. Like, their
And I
screens
saw,
got blown up, and then you had guys wide over the
right.
field, and you still try to pull off that screen. Like,
Yeah,
what?
and, like, everybody wants to talk smack to, Phil Mackey about, that they hate on Kirk Cousins too much on his show, but I saw, he put something out after the game where he said he doesn't wanna see, like, this game's on Kirk. He said, "I don't wanna see anybody talking about
The
the
second
pressure."
half
Like,
specifically.
yeah, but he's like, "I
First
don't wanna
half
see
was
it."
Ed Donatel, I think.
Yeah, Ed Donatel, that was atrocious. But he said, like, he's like, "I don't wanna see anybody, talking about pressure on Kirk Cousins." Like, it's the end of the game, you're trying to score, you're down in their side of the field. Of course, they're going to send pressure. It's coming. You need to be better. Like,
Yeah.
make
Yeah.
make a better choice.
Definitely, especially if you're trying to say Kirk is elite, because that's why he's above average. He's a great game manager. I'll put him at the top of the game manager quarterbacks, because I know Josh Allen, Mahomes, any of these elite quarterbacks, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, when they're in that position, even if they're getting rushed, you see them at least a lot of times. Kyler Murray last week, you see them make plays, even if with the rush, whether it's with their legs dodging pressure, whatever it is. You see those guys making plays, and almost sometimes they even look like they even take their game up to another level in those situations. And you don't see that from Kirk Cousins, barely ever. It happens, just like even with Mahomes. There's times where that defense gets him at the end and he isn't able to pull off the miracle, or Aaron Rodgers or whatever. But more often than not, Mahomes puts the team on his back and carries them. And more often than not, Kirk Cousins doesn't do that when the pressure's on and things like that. And I think you can still win a Super Bowl with that. It's just you can't be too conservative. I don't think we win one if we're too conservative. So,
but this whole game was just a complete blunderfest. Like, defensively, I thought Daniil Hunter started out too aggressive. I thought he broke contain a lot on Jalen Hurts, which allowed Jalen Hurts, when the guy gets outside the pocket and he can either run or throw, the guy's one of the most dangerous passers in the league. Like, let's be honest here. He showed a lot this game.
Especially his arm, man. Like, damn.
Right.
And
I get it. People say don't overreact to the win in week 1, don't overreact to the loss in week 2. But had we come out and been competitive in this game, it'd have been different. And like, we were never we had 3 opportunities to tie.
Yeah, we did.
Like, the game in the midway through the third quarter. I have a lot of thoughts here. It should have been like tied 21-21, or should have been somewhere around there. The Irv Smith touchdown, the block kick, and the interception. Those are 3 scores, right? Like, the game should have been much closer than it was. And again, like I said, I'm not discrediting Philadelphia.
There's no question.
They game planned for us. They were ready for the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings. And I want to start back at the top here again. Head coach Kevin O'Connell. We thought things were going to be different with this guy. We thought, he wasn't going to let them get too high, and he was going to know how to coach with expectation, right? Because they were patting the Vikings backs this week, saying this team is good. Kirk Cousins for MVP, Justin Jefferson's best player in the league. This team's looking good. The defense is fixed.
Right.
And that wasn't the case in this game. Kevin O'Connell is just, same thing. He's new. I get it. But like, you got to know how to coach with some expectation. Like, people thought this was going to be a contest, like a highly scoring, close contest. Score wise, like how things kind of shaped out, it could have been a lot closer, but score wise, not once in the night did I ever feel like the Vikings were going to do anything. My brother said it sitting right next to me. He's like, block that kick, the Jalen, Jordan Hicks interception. He's like, God,
right.
He said both times, if they don't get in the end zone here, we're not going to score.
Yeah. There was a little bit of momentum, like, oh, maybe, like, are we that team this year that gets that big of a momentum shift, especially watching all the games this week where we can come back and then we just go down and don't score. Or interceptions are the worst, especially red zone interceptions. And then you're just like, oh, nope. And it's just, we had that's the worst part, is there was real opportunities out there for us, and we ended up throwing an interception on all of them.
Yeah.
Which is pretty brutal, but I don't know.
It's just, Kevin O'Connell's got a lot of work to do this week. Like, he's got to look in the mirror, do some soul searching. Obviously, you're the head coach. Like, I know you don't want to put the blame on him too early, but you're the head coach. This is on you. Like your guys straight up from start to finish, your defensive coordinator was not ready to didn't come to play today. I don't know what you guys worked on all week. You had all week to prepare for this type of offense. And you didn't. I could have thrown into those windows you were giving. You were giving a pro quarterback in Jalen Hurts. You were giving him all those throws. I know you didn't want to beat him. Like you didn't want him to beat you with his legs. You didn't want to beat you deep. He beat you with his legs, and he beat you deep, and he beat you underneath. You lost everything. Like
it was the underneath stuff, man. Like we just literally gave them the underneath. And it looked like the scheme was definitely try to make him beat you with his arm or whatever and stop the run, which like you said, he was still able to run. But man, they were just picking on us underneath, especially with Devonta Smith. And it was just like, but you're not talking about like 3-4 yards. You're talking about every time was like 10 yards and going up for like another 10 yards or like 15, 20 yards every single time. And it's going to open up the rest of the offense if you let that happen. That's why I was surprised that I just didn't feel like Donatel really changed anything or tried doing anything different. We had those big plays. I think that's a big reason why. I think because we let Eagles didn't score a single point with us in the second half, correct? And I think a big reason was because block field goal, the interceptions,
they came close.
Yeah, they came close. And so it was more of like a playmaking thing, but they were still throwing. I mean, he was still throwing all over us. Like he only missed couple passes in the second half as well, and they didn't have anything they were beating us on defense. When we were on offense, they were on defense. They were just playing like they didn't have too much to worry about, and they really just didn't.
But hey, Ryan Wright punted really well tonight.
Yeah. Ryan Wright's the guy who's up. He's the one guy that's up. Otherwise, I don't think there's a single. I don't think you can say there's a single other player on this entire team that wasn't up. All the way from the coaching staff.
Yeah. And it all starts at the top. Kevin O'Connell got to sit down tomorrow when you watch this film and just think about it. You got a lot to fix here. Like this is a team that after week 1, of course, we were all flying high at a ton of high expectations. And after this week, it's not looking good. Like it was just, I don't know. The lights are on. The national media is watching you. And this is what you put out there. It falls in line with what everybody thinks about the Minnesota Vikings. That this team, they're going to surprise you sometimes, but at the end of the day, they're just the same old Minnesota Vikings who are going to come out. And we've never been good. And you think the primetime thing would change under new leadership? No. This team just cannot
you still got
perform.
You still got Kirk Cousins in primetime, so you can only do so much. But no, that's like the big thing I think is, overall, it doesn't matter if we have a whole new coaching staff, or anything, we still struggle against these rushing quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And that's something that we talked about up in coming to this game. Even if that's the thing about rushing quarterbacks, even if you scheme against them, if they also can throw the ball, like you can only, like Jalen Hurts is proven now, at least like, especially to me, because I really didn't think his arm was anything special. I didn't think he was that much accuracy. I don't know. This game, his arm looked fantastic. Everything the perfect bomb to Watkins there. He had a couple just perfect throws. Man, very little mistakes, very little actually misses. And I was impressed by him, but
Cam Bynum, by the way. Cam Bynum looked terrible.
Cam Bynum allowed that big one.
It's time to get Lewis Seen.
Did we even see him on defense? I don't remember even seeing him.
Who's seen?
Yeah,
a couple times. I think he was in there a couple times. But by the way, did you notice he looks a lot like the Valarian kid from House of the Dragon? By the way, just thought I'd toss that out there with the hair
and kind of does.
Yeah, with the hair and everything, he looks a lot like him. It's kind of cool.
He does kind of look like him. If that guy had like blonde hair, more of like a blonde hair.
But they look a lot alike. It's Lewis Seen time. Put him out there. Cam Bynum isn't the answer. Offensively, I don't know, man. Like
I think you just come in. You gotta take that one to the chin. Go back, figure out what you did wrong, I guess. And I don't think the reality is the Eagles are a good team. I wanted to be better than the Eagles. We're hyped. We're hoping that we can be a team we gave ourselves top 5. We gave us the 5 power rankings. Other people put us really high up there, and that's what I was hoping for. That's what we're trying to expect. But we're just not there yet, I guess. And we did go against an Eagles team that I think was underrated, even going into this game and probably going into the season. And they were probably the team I think improved the most in this last offseason. So that's another thing too, is I think the Eagles have a good team there. Even against the Lions last week, yeah, they let Lions kind of come back a little bit, but still they were so far ahead, it probably didn't even really matter. So going into the Lions game, I'm not that afraid of the Lions. I don't know. I know you're a little bit more afraid than me, but it's still the Lions. I think we can bounce back.
And that's the thing, Kevin O'Connell, this is a big test. What do you do? Like, your team was riding high. You got kicked in the nuts, punched in the face. What do you do?
Yes, you did.
How do you respond? And the Lions, that's your first chance. A team that we've been pretty good against up until this point.
Yes.
And they're looking good too. We have not been. So what do you do? This might be. Let's hope.
Game.
Let's hope week 2 is a turning point. Let's hope this was the humbling game, and from here, it's straight up. But this is it.
And you got to scheme.
This is the big test now. Kevin O'Connell, what do you do?
And I love Justin Jefferson, and I want him to break the records. Obviously, he took a step back this week with it because you got guys like Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill going crazy.
Yeah.
But you got to use these other guys on offense.
Mm-hmm.
I love JJ, and I want him to catch 20 catches a game. But you do have Adam Thielen, Adam Thielen, and KJ Osborne on that offense. You got to use them. You got to use them, at least like scheme stuff for them specifically. Don't wait till the end of the game to do it, because that's one thing that I was hoping that KOC would do coming into this game. Obviously, I'm not a head coach and I'm just a podcaster, so I don't really know shit. So take this with a grain of salt. Was just to come in and go straight towards Adam Thielen and KJ Osborne and those guys, just to open. I think that's what you needed to do to open up that offense. And they came out here and started throwing right to JJ right away. And it seems like, I don't know if that's just a KO. It has to be part of it. It's definitely the game plan. But even Kirk Cousins, which is very interesting because he's had a very good connection with Adam Thielen.
Yeah.
But man, he's not even looking at anybody else. It's hand off to Delvin Cook, dump off to Delvin Cook, dump off to somebody, or JJ. And they need to get these other guys involved because you got talent in Adam Thielen and KJ Osborne. I think KJ Osborne can be that guy. He's just not getting the opportunity at all.
Yeah. But I don't know. It's a bum show, but let us know what you guys think of this game down in the comment section. I'm sure there's going to be some angry people, and we'll see you guys in the next episode of the GG Sports Podcast.
Skol Vikings. Still.